Dad usually sits around there. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And welcome to Adith Emmanuel on this first Shabbat of 2024. So you can still write 5784 on your checks. Thank you for laughing. So we're so delighted that you're here today. At our service tonight, you will notice that it's the first Friday, so it is our family Shabbat, and members of our Habonim Youth Choir will be helping lead the music for the service, and we're delighted that Michael Wemmer will be conducting them, and this is a well-deserved night off for our cantorial leader. Sandy Messenger Aguilar is not here tonight, but we have Michael, and we also have Lucas Bennett leading us with the guitar. And while Habonim is here in front of us, they're really not here to perform. They're just here to lead us and to have us sing as well. And you might also notice that there are kindergarten, first and second and third graders who have come from dinner with their families here tonight, and we hope that you come every first Friday of the night of the month. And one other thing we celebrate on the first Fridays, and that is birthday, anniversary, and special life cycle events. And so if you are celebrating something in that category during this month of January, or maybe you missed the December one, we will have time to celebrate you later on in the service. So we turn now in our service to page 128 in our Siddur, in our prayer book. When I announce the pages, they are in the brackets. We sing Hinei Ma Tov, how good and pleasant it is that we are here together. We turn now in our prayer books to page 121 for 120 and 121 for the lighting and blessing of our Shabbat candles. And it's my pleasure to invite Renee Luboff Godfrey to come to the bima to light our candles in honor of the yahrzeit of her mother.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu L'halik Ner Shel Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
And we turn now to Kiddush on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. And so we continue now with what we call the family blessing or the parents' blessing. So if you're here with your child or your children or your grandchildren, nieces, nephews, we invite you, if you want, to follow the blessing on page 603 in the brackets, page 603. And if you're here with somebody who's not your child, and we think of ourselves as all part of the Jewish community, we're all B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel, you might choose to put your hands on each other's shoulders or hold hands as we offer this blessing that's at the bottom of page 603. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Sometimes in our family, this is where the Shabbat shalom kiss or hug comes in. As we turn back in our Siddur to page 138 and 39, 138 and 39, as we welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. Shabbat Nikabla Letadodi Nikrat Kala Bene Shabbat Nikabla Ohi Shalom Atzeret Bana Gam Simcha Shabbat nikabela. Lechatati likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikabela. And we take a moment while we're standing to turn to somebody, perhaps not next to us if we already know that person, but somebody in front of us, behind us. Let's introduce ourselves to one another and greet one another. Shabbat Shalom. And if you're joining us through the blessing of technology, I welcome you to say Shabbat Shalom to one another in the chat and share where it is you're joining us on this Shabbat. And we can continue those conversations at our Oneg Shabbat as we turn now to our song cards. So a song card could be yellow or it could be blue, and we rise as we are able as we continue with Baruch Hu. Am I awake? Am I prepared? And we continue on the prayer card with Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai as we turn back to our prayer book on page 268 in the brackets, Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shoftecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'sha'arecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'yotnochem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. As we continue on page 270, we sing that song of freedom, Mi Chamocha. As we continue on page 271, we read together. Give us a place to rest, O God, Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We continue now on page 273. As we're able, we rise in body and spirit for tefillah. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaHanorah, Hil Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סולח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני העולם. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה. ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. May be seated. On page 278, in the middle of the page, we join together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We continue our prayer now silently, whether we are led by the words on the pages of our Siddur through page 285, or other prayers throughout the prayer book for those meditations and thoughts in our hearts. We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are in need of healing, and so we turn in our prayer book to page 371 in the brackets in the middle of the page. If you're joining us through the blessing of technology and you're thinking of someone who's in need of healing, whether it's a healing of the mind or body or spirit, feel free to add those names to the chat at this time. And in our extended Adith Emmanuel family, we are sending our blessings of healing to Gila Bat Sviv Vizelda, Carol Levine, Judy Winogren, Bob Epifano, Marlene Kaplan, Meredith Gelman, Marion Portnoy, Carrie Armoriello, Malcolm Fletcher, Ellen Bertuglia, Goldie Schultz, Mindy Fisher, Kayla Chana Bat Adan Leib Umasalea, Marlene Gratchner, Sarah Gardner, Cindy DiRicio, Harry Greenberg, Nick Baud, Deb Nielsen, Moshe Ben Elizabeth Theodore, Rosalie Middleman, Jennifer Ness, George Goldstein, Harriet Eisner, Carla Teisch, Linda Drachman, Chaim Ben David, Eileen Davison, Craig Davison, Hugh Morton, Art Bond, Roberta Levine, Jordan Steinberg, Lisa Galda, Ed Crosby, Myra Kaplan, Jeff Schaefer, Louis Alahut, Carol Schaefer, Mary Mednitsky, Jocelyn Jackson, Jen Jones, Michael Infante, Gary Garnick, Rick Ulrich, Ileana Cohn. And if you're here in the sanctuary and you're thinking of those who are in need of healing and would like to mention their names aloud, I invite you, as you're able, to rise and mention those names aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We turn now in our Siddur to page 377 as our hearts are in the east, and we offer this prayer for Israel. As we're able, we rise. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim yishla'u ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Together, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And may be seated, except if you are celebrating your birthday or anniversary or a special life event during this month of January, at which point I welcome you to come up to the bima. And if you're joining us through the blessing of technology and you want to stand wherever you are in honor of your January special event, feel free to do so. And as a congregation, as we're able, we rise.
Or if you missed the previous week.
And also, if you celebrated during December and you weren't here, absolutely. Last week. God of our days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. We gather here today in special thankfulness to share with the happiness of those celebrating their birthdays, their anniversaries, their special life events during this month of January. God, be with them always as the joy of their lives. May they be blessed with health and happiness, with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. May they have the joy of coming together for many more years, united by mutual reverence and love. May these milestone events remind us that as we may count our days and the days of our lives, may a person of wisdom also make every day count. And so, God, we join together in our prayer of gratitude, the Shechianu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us all these years, and enabling us to reach this day. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov to you. May your birthday be a good day. I know what you did.
And I'd like to invite all of our children to join the members of our Habonim choir on the stairs. I'm just going to move, Jacqueline, if you could stand up, I'm going to move this just to this. For our story. And somebody said, well, what qualifies as being a child? I let you decide. I used to say, well, if you're under B'nai Mitzvah age, but then a young lady became Bat Mitzvah and she was so sad that she couldn't sit on the stairs anymore for the story. I let everyone decide who is a child in your heart, by your age, whatever, to share with you this story. Now, this is a very special Shabbat because this is the first Shabbat of 2024, and we have another beginning, not just the first. We have the first Shabbat of this Torah portion of this book. So there are 5 books in the Torah, and we're now in the second book, which is the book of Exodus, also known as Shemot, and we call it the Exodus because, you see those exit signs? Exodus sounds like exit. And it was when we exited out of Egypt, and that's the story we tell in the book of Exodus. And so a lot of the book of Exodus is the story of our people. We went into slavery, we were slaves, and trying to get out of slavery and get out of what was the country known as the land of Egypt. And God had to choose a leader to bring us out of Egypt. And God said, what's the most important quality for that person, for that leader? And God decided that the most important quality was patience. And so God decided, in order to find the right leader, that person had to pass a patience test. But what would that patience test be? And it was in ancient Egypt, so it wasn't watching the paint dry on the wall. That was not the patience test. And so God happened to be with the angels, and the angels were always offering ideas to God, and usually their ideas weren't so great. But God was patient, and so God listened to the ideas of the angels. And so the first angel, by the name of Gabriel, came up to God and said, I have a great patience test. And Gabriel brought this tangled ball of string. And Gabriel said, the person who will take the time to undo these knots in this ball of string, that is the person for our job. And God said, well, Gabrielle, yeah, that's an idea, but string untanglers, they're the type of people who collect rubber bands, and that's just not the thing he was looking for. So that Gabrielle went by the wayside, and then along came Michael, and Michael says, I got the perfect patience test. I have with me this box, and it's a puzzle, and it's got colors on all 6 sides. It has red and blue and green and yellow and orange and white, and it has little squares, and you have to get all the red squares on one side, all the blue squares on one side, and the person who can do this puzzle will have the utmost patience. That's the person for our job. And God said, that is a possibility. But the thing is, your puzzle isn't so much about patience as much as it is persistence. And God knew a lot of leaders that weren't so good, that had a lot of persistence. So God said goodbye to Michael. And then God thought of the best patience test as in the world. And what was that patience test? God decided to take a bush and have it burn on fire, but the bush wouldn't burn up or down, and the person who noticed this bush was burning would be the person who had enough patience to stay in front of the bush and notice it. So what did God do? God put this burning bush in a place in the pasture that was a place where a lot of shepherds would come by. Now, a bush isn't a big deal, and actually in the desert, a burning bush isn't such a big deal. But a burning bush that burns and doesn't burn up or doesn't burn down, that is something to notice. So God put it there in the middle of the pasture, and all the shepherds were going by, and they didn't notice it, except for one shepherd, and that shepherd was Moses. Moses had been a shepherd for a number of years now. He learned how to do that from his father-in-law, Jethro. And so Moses was out with his sheep, and a sheep wandered off, and he was looking for that sheep, and then saw this bush that was on fire, and decided to sit down in front of the bush. And as Moses sat in front of this bush patiently, Moses noticed that the leaves were on fire, and they looked burnt, and the branches were turning black, but the leaves weren't falling off, and the branches weren't falling down, and this must be a miracle. And so as God watched Moses sit there and just watch this miracle before him, God knew that Moses was the right person for the job. And so Moses took off his sandals, knowing that this was a special, holy, sacred ground, and kept watching the bush that didn't burn up and didn't burn down, to be continued another time. The end. It's a good thing to have patience. Sometimes it's hard, but some very special people like Moses were able to show that they had patience. We're going to turn now in our Siddur to Aleinu, and we can find that at the bottom of page 586. 586 at the bottom of the page. As we're able, we rise, and if the children want to stay on the stairs, they're more than welcome to stay on the stairs. Just be careful, as you might want to turn around and face the ark.
Aleinu l'shapech l'adon hakol, v'teit gidul ha'liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye ha'atzot, v'lo samanu kimishpechot ha'atama, shelo sam chelkeinu chahem, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והאדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. And students, if you want to go back to sitting with your family, that's okay at this time. As our thoughts turn now to those who are no longer with us, we turn in our prayer books to pages 598 and 599. As we think of those who died recently during this period of Shiva and Shloshim, we remember Dr. George Flam, our member and husband of Audrey, Ronald Joseph Tungol, brother of Diane Magram, Ann Marsden, our congregant, as well as those who died at the season in years past whose yahrzeits we observe on the Shabbat: Paul Antonoff, Louis Aronowitz, Carl Cohen, Anita Einstein, Lana Renee Epstein, Albert Fireman, Ann Garnick, Rose Gilbert, Rebecca Goldman, Robin E. Helfat, Bill Indictor, Sam Kleeman, Sheila Luboff, Richard Plavinsky, Michael Romsberg, Robert Rubenstein, Yossi Stein, Art Weissman, Claire Zayat. If you're watching through the blessing of technology and want to add the name of a loved one lost, you can do so at this time. If you're here in the sanctuary and want to add a name to our Kaddish list, whether it's somebody who died in recent days or whose yahrzeit you're observing, please feel free as you're able to rise and mention that person's name aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. And so I invite those who are in this period of Shiva or Shloshim, or the first year of mourning, to rise at this time. And those who are observing a yahrzeit on the Shabbat to rise at this time. And so we now, as one congregation in comfort and support, rise as one community, continuing with the words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye chon v'yomei chon uv'chaye dechol bei Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach leolam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. May be seated. And so my pleasure to invite to the Bima Joel Horitz, who will be sharing with us some Hodaot.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us all this evening, especially our K through 3 religious families who joined us earlier for dinner and came to spend the service with us. It was nice to see you all here. Thank you, Rabbi Memes Foler, our cantorial soloist, Michael, and our music leader, Lucas. Thank you. I never miss a youth choir, and Jocelyn, Jacqueline, and Grace, you all sounded wonderful tonight. I enjoy it so much. And one last thank you to our greeters, Shira and Ken. Those of you who saw the email today, we're excited to be we were excited to have a new executive director who started today. Her name is Jennifer Gottlieb. As you see her around our synagogue, please feel free to say hi to her. She's looking forward to getting to know all of you. I met her the other night, and she was very nice, and looking forward to getting to know her better as well. Our upcoming events, please join us tomorrow morning for Torah Talk and Bagels at 8:45, followed by Shabbat morning services at 10 a.m. Sunday morning is the Men's Club Donate and Dine. You can donate blood from 9 to 2, and the dine part is twofold. You can have Cheez-Its and Chips Ahoy afterwards, or you can join us at Goldie's in Philadelphia for falafel and hummus. We'll be carpooling and leaving here at 12:15. Also, Mahjong Mondays, and next Sunday, the 14th at 9:30, will be our book club Kehila with Marlene Kaplan. And also, as you're leaving the sanctuary, there are flyers for Martin Luther King Day, our Day of Tikkun Olam, and our Day of Service. There's plenty other things going on and a lot for everybody, so please check your weekly emails, read the bulletin. There's a lot going on of interest to all. And now, in a couple moments, we'll be making our exodus to the social hall, where I look forward to seeing you all for Oneg.
Thanks, Joe, for listening to the story. So our closing song is on your song card. It's on the side that says Shabbat song sheet at the top. It's called Ufaratsta. Please join me in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon and Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. You're welcome. Shabbat shalom. Thank you. No,